So COVID-19 has changed our lives and our business forever. The critical part is, how are you going to react? How have you reacted? And what are your plans for the future? This presentation is really an overview of a dozen or so social media platforms and just a quick preview of some critical things that you may or may not have known about, some benefits that you could take with, and kind of a stepping stone to how our business can take you in a very powerful direction. The reality is we're in the midst of one of the most dynamic social and economic transformations the world has ever seen. The rapid adoption of digital technologies due to COVID-19 has meant generational shifts, measured in weeks. Were you prepared? Are you now prepared? Do you have game plans how you're going to move forward? Because actually there's going to be some significant winners. And those winners in some categories which may be devastated are going to double, triple, or even more what the revenue is. We are in increasing danger of losing our businesses because foot traffic is no longer going to be a primary source of revenue. Online is going to drive that. Some of it is convenience, but the primary thing is now safety. The rate of change for best practices in social media is at light speed. It's really hard to keep up with. And so part of what this presentation is again, to give you some insights into some of these categories and kind of a preview of some of the services that my company can offer. Okay. My name's Rob Schmidt, and I've been in marketing for more than 25 years. I have an MBA. I've run $100+ million brands for companies. Today, what I typically do is I help companies with new products. I help companies with 10 to 250 million sales with their new product process, to fill their pipeline with ideas, to launch. And I've got a lot of experience in the digital media side to gain awareness of products and to drive sales. Today, I offer a wealth of marketing experience, and I'm the kind of guy who rolls his sleeves up and I actually do the stuff. So it's not just me talking about stuff, okay? Digital marketing is the focus. What you're going to notice is these are 2019 numbers. Well, guess what? Internet was going to grow by about $40 billion in terms of the size of the advertising budget. That's been blown apart, and it's actually been blown apart in two different ways. After COVID-19 hit, the largest retailers, think about an Amazon, have actually stopped advertising because they're focused on the most critical of their products, and others have increased their advertising. So if you've watched TV, and that's another one where there is a little bit of growth, but what you'll see is these extra footnotes. Digital is 5.8 billion of that. I don't have cable anymore. I don't have DirecTV or Comcast or any of those. I use Hulu. I stream online. I've used YouTube TV. I'm like a lot of people, okay? So what you're going to notice from this page is a lot of the growth is because of digital media things. And I don't intend to read every page here. What I intend to do is go through quickly. You can have a copy of this afterwards. Just reach out to me. My phone number's on here. What you're going to see is the top marketing focuses for last year, for 2019, was social media advertising. It was the top priority for most people, with the second one being websites. But overall, more than half of these people made it a top priority. Here's why. 57% of local businesses do digital media themselves. It's kind of funny because people don't even always know the right questions to ask. A lot of times they think the social media, Facebook failed me. They're trying to put a screw in with a hammer. And that's a problem. And again, that's where people like me come in. 25% hire an agency. And one of the meetings that we just had that I had with a client yesterday, they said, we asked them, have all your questions been answered? Are there any questions? And in all honesty, they said, we're not even sure what the right questions are to ask, which is why we're coming to a company like you. So the frenetic technology change is causing angst. And I'm sure it's causing even more angst because this is at the end of last year. But it's almost doubled over a 5 or 6 year period. And I can guarantee you what's happened recently has done it. Here's kind of a quick list. We're going to go through some of these, be it Google Maps, websites, Facebook, Instagram, video marketing, etc. So the important thing to know is that when we do training, you come up with actionable steps, not just some kid who's 18 and tells you how to get your video viewed by some people, but actionable steps which puts impressions to conversions to revenues to profits. So out of our trainings, that's exactly what's going to come out of this. And what I'm going to ask you for is to buckle up, because we're going to go through things pretty fast. And again, there's a whole lot of stuff to go through, but this is just a small slice. Each of these sessions that we'll do once a month for our clients will be live webinars where they're interactive, approximately an hour, maybe an hour and a half with questions. So here we go. Google My Business, that's Google Maps. The average business in the US gets 1,009 impressions out of Google Maps. And you'd be surprised that even in the small towns, how a small business in a small town can far exceed that. The people who focus in local search marketing, LSM, their growth is three times their competitors. And it's because people come to Google Maps looking for a solution. They take action within typically 24 hours. Here's a quick video.
Remember, we're your #1 Google-rated 5-star dealer. Visit Lee Buick GMC.
Excellent service and quality with spot-on price.
Wrong. This even bigger jar represents all the reviews that Tough to Needle has received. Yeah, there's over 80,000 of them.
To say about us. A happy customer that leaves a review like this on
what your home is really worth and why we have more 5-star reviews than any other real estate agent in Tampa Bay at
5-star review? Okay. Native deodorant. The internet loves it, and the internet hates everything.
Atomic Plumbing's satisfied customer rating is 4.7 out of 5. That's phenomenal. But we want those 0.3 customers happy too.
So what you're going to notice out of all these videos, again, it wasn't always all focused on Google reviews or on Google Maps, but it was focused on reviews. And that is the heart. Word of mouth today happens online. It happens in Facebook, but it is especially important when people come looking for solutions in Google Maps.
Remember, we're your #1.
So, sneak peek. This is going to be within each of these sections. This Google Maps section and training is going to be very deep. And Google is at the heart. It's the largest website in the world. And we're going to go into incredible detail. We're going to walk you through your profile in the back of a Google My Business profile and go step by step. It's a free directory. And it's kind of, because it's free, people overlook it, but it's a giant mistake. So industry specific directory. So here's OpenTable. It's one of the ones that's critical to the restaurant industry. Here's another one called Leafly. It's critical, or it's an important one in the marijuana, recreational, or medical marijuana. Here's what's interesting in this. Every industry has these individual specific industry directories, and it can be critical because people will look at those as a higher level of knowledge. And what we're going to do is we're going to share some of the search trends which makes these industry directories very critical. Websites. When this was initially put together, the website was important. Now it is absolutely vital. The website is at the heart of where people are looking for your information. They may start at Google, they may start at Yelp, they may start in YouTube or other places, but then they come to your website. If your website's not right, you've got a problem. If you haven't updated your website in a significant way in the last 12 to 18 months, you've got a problem. It's a check engine light that should be on right now. And the point that we're going to make here is, do you know that the American Disabilities Act is actually playing a part in this? Beyonce was sued because her site was not ADA compliant. And what it is, and what you see on the left is actually there are ways where people can do certain things with voice and with keyboard, etc., to make it expand or verbal. So we are going to empty what we consider a treasure trove of different website tools. And again, not tools for the sake of coolness, tools that drive revenues, that drive profits, that drive customer satisfaction, that drive interaction with your customers to identify problems early and resolve them. Geofence marketing. This is the kind of thing with your cell phone that tracks where you are. And because of that, there are a lot of people who can see, hey, you're in a used car lot, you're in a new car lot, you're in Walmart or Target or other places, and they can put what's called a geofence, which is basically a range around that building, around that parking lot. And then because you've been there, they can then market to you. This is kind of a little scary for some people. This is very Big Brother-like if you're in my age range. But what if I could target people who were in car lots and I was a loan officer? What if I could do these things in any industry? Again, maybe I'm Target and I want to target the Walmart shoppers or vice versa. This is the kind of stuff, this cutting edge stuff will blow your mind. But what happens is it can get down to the most micro of dynamics, micro down to the demographics that are critical for your business. Facebook, third largest website in the world. Look at all this stuff, not important. Again, this is the kind of stuff that you can look at later, but here's what is important. Did you know that Facebook is heavily trying to compete in video? They are attacking Google on the video side, and that 85% of Facebook users watch video with the sound off. So if you don't have that little transcription that runs at the bottom of your video, chances are your message is not getting through. Oh, by the way that we're shooting this training is in a traditional TV format. But if you want to dominate Facebook and other social media, it actually should be vertical, because that will take up the entire screen. So what if I showed you the advertising history? Meaning you're going to be able to see some of the content that some of the greatest advertisers in the world have run. And it's actually today from a free website. And what if I showed you a way to harvest previously viral content? What if I went through the incredible detail of, if you just boost a post, that's a Facebook term, boost, that you might as well just take that money and burn it, versus doing traditional advertising on Facebook where you can take interest and stack them. You'd learn a lot about stacking when we get to it. YouTube marketing. Did you know that 70% of views on YouTube are mobile? And again, this format that we're doing right here, not mobile friendly. It should be vertical. If we were looking at mobile friendly, it would be vertical, and then it will take up the entire screen. 73% of adults use YouTube. YouTube is the second largest website after Google. And the thing that we say is a picture's worth 1,000 words and a video's worth 1,000 pictures. Well, guess what? YouTube is that medium. Video is powerful, especially the music bed that goes underneath it.
Hey, I'm Bridger. This is Brian, and we're your Beta Talent coaches. In this video, we're going to go over the 4 secrets, the 4 steps to guarantee a transformation from a beta male to an alpha male over the next 13 weeks. Let's get straight into it. It all starts with the pyramid of transformation. If you don't have all 4 elements in this pyramid, you are going to be missing out on a ton of gains. The first thing that starts with,
do you see the shadows?
Mindset.
Do you see that he used a Shutterstock picture without actually licensing it? Do you see how they're not sure where to look? This guy has tens of thousands of followers on Instagram, and yet does not know how to use YouTube. So if a social media influencer doesn't know how to do this, do you think he won't? And again, look at those shadows. He doesn't know that the lighting should come from the top. So this is the kind of thing that, again, if he doesn't know it, it's the kind of thing that I'm sure your business hasn't thought about, or a lot of agencies haven't even told you about. So what if I told you that you could put your video directly in front of your competitors' videos? There's a lot of people who don't know how to load their videos and to exclude that from happening, but that is one of the powers of YouTube. You can do that. I will share you how to do that. What if I told you, if you had 6 to 12 friends, I can, at least as of today, guarantee that you're going to get a real opportunity, a real shot to the first page of Google with a video. So there's a lot of different things. I miss the old days about 6 or 8 years ago where I could put just one keyword phrase in a video and the thing would end up on the first page of Google. But the power of YouTube today is extraordinary. Chatbots. People use these chatbots as a way to solve problems, and really what it is it's this little machine right here. Chatbots, when you do marketing campaigns, when somebody reaches out to you, the open rates on that are over 75%. That's the conservative number, because many times you're going to find it over 90%, and people are very responsive. People sent 10 times as many messages in 2009 as they did in 2016. There's 20 billion messages a month through that chatbot. And not only do they see that 70 to 80% focus on it, but 30 to 40% click-through rates. Think about your email campaigns. If you get 2% or 3%, maybe 5%, you would think you hung the moon. Yet this is chatbots. This is artificial intelligence. This is part of harnessing the power of the computer. And we're going to give you some very interesting ways, and the ways that a lot of people probably aren't sharing with you, how to take chatbots and take that marketing to the whole different platform level of your business. Word of mouth is now online. And I was at a restaurant and I saw this sign. We promise friendly and courteous service at modest prices. If for any reason we do not live up to this promise, please don't tell anybody. Well, the thing that I tell businesses is upset, anger travels 10 to 100 times faster, further, than happiness does. So how many of you have had businesses that operate this way? Here's another way that you never thought about online
Customer
reviews.
reviews and health inspections, they are a huge factor for people when they head out to eat with the family.
And if you're looking for a place and you look at reviews, you're not the only one looking at those reviews, because the online reviews actually provide city regulators with information that can help them identify restaurants that might have issues there, especially when it comes to cleanliness and hygiene, even after they've gotten high grades from health inspectors. So it's a new study that came out of New York City. It's Restauranceur from 2010 to 2016. The study found that reviews can pinpoint restaurants that are consistently diligent about being clean and having safe food handling practices.
So the government is using online reviews to monitor businesses for health reasons, and I'm sure for other reasons. Have you ever thought about that
Customer
before?
reviews.
That's shocking. The biggest single influence on customer purchases are reviews. And it's not the ones that you put on your website, because guess what? You can control 100%. There won't be any unhappy reviews. It's those reviews on Google. It's those reviews on Amazon. Those are the things that drive sales and profits. And you can actually manage that. That's the funny thing. So again, we showed the ad before we showed some of the TV advertising. Again, TV advertising showing how good their reviews are online and on Google. So we're just bringing you back to that. And the funny thing is, 40% of consumers expect a business to respond within 24 hours. And yet the average review time is measured in multiple days, 4, 5, 7. So if you're not diligent on those reviews on a daily basis, you're in big trouble. And the other way to look at this, if I come back for a second, I put this in all caps, but how long would you allow a person to yell in your lobby, yell in your business at the top of his lungs? Well, guess what? That is exactly what's happening in these reviews online in a very negative way in many cases, and they just go on, they're not addressed. It's shocking to me, but that's just how people behave. So word of mouth is the thing that the entire world sees. It's not just because the two of us talk or we message or whatever, and it's the social media sites. There are some clear terms of service situations that businesses need to understand and be aware of, because it can help take reviews down. It can help get some of your reviews removed. And if you fake reviews, you will go to jail. Please understand that, because there are court cases, and I will share them with you, where people end up going to jail. Do not fake reviews. Podcasts. This is the funny category to me, because 70% of the population is familiar with a podcast, and 50% of them are so-called podcast fans. But in reality, the term podcast is so broad, it's far beyond what that term actually initially meant. Okay, and what you got here is places like Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. You can go live on those websites. And really, that's just another form of podcast. Technically, I could put this up on my website and it would be a podcast. So I'm going to give you some key methods of how to do them best, and ways to find simple content, or simple ways to find content that can be extremely high quality. If you don't know how customers think and look about your business, then you're going to have a big problem. But guess what? Google gives you answers to the quizzes. I typed in keyword, and guess what? It gives you everything like keywords everywhere: planner, search, results, tools. Google actually tells you what people are searching. And there's other tools online where they actually give you what the keyword was. So in this case, again, I use keyword tool. And then it shows you the words that go around it, and then the phrases that go around it one level deeper. If you don't know what the destination is for your customer searches, then how are you going to service them? Because you're not going to target your content in an appropriate way. It's these phrases that are going to be critical, not only in search results and in videos, but across all social media. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you some little known words which actually drive revenues. And the best ways to capitalize on them. Instagram, Kylie Jenner, the whole Jenner Kardashian family, they dominate on this. A billionaire, with a B, billion, because they're Instagram superstars. So the guy that I showed you a couple minutes earlier, who was doing a video about his workouts and how buff he is, etc. Again, making a very good living showing online. And we think, that's just kids, right? Well, guess what? 18 to 24 is dominating, but the biggest age group is 25 to 34. So I guess in my case, they're kind of my kids' age. But still, even 35 to 44 are almost 10% of the makeup. And 37% of U.S. adults use Instagram, okay? You can target your base on there. And guess what? This company did very successfully.
Reputation and great reviews from their patients. Well, one Valley dentist has gained quite a following on social. Cosmetic dentist Brian Harris says he is booked up for the next 5 months, and he credits Instagram. He's been practicing in the Valley for over 15 years and over time developed a love for smile makeovers with veneers. So it was only about 3 years ago when he decided to start up an Instagram page to basically show before and after photos of his work, and it's got folks talking.
But at the time, that was before it was cool. And so it was super uncomfortable to just put yourself out there to be judged by the world, with your art or with your craft.
Just brighter and happier with the fact that I don't feel like I have to hide behind, a wall anymore.
Dr. Harris says it's all about his connection with his patients and helping them feel great about the way they look with their new set of choppers. I don't think he actually used the phrase reputation.
So here's the important thing. If you told me a business that should be targeting Instagram followers, I don't think dentistry would be one of them. But guess what? This guy's got his practice filled for months ahead of time, because he thought ahead. Guess what? There's this platform out there right now called TikTok. It's a lot of kids. It's kind of a 12 to 16-year-old age group. And there's 450 million people on that platform. It's the fastest growing platform. So when you think about Instagram, that was one of the ones that were more recently hot. But again, there's other ones that follow behind it. So it's not even just about Instagram. But Instagram is very specific. They have very specific regulations and restrictions around the length and what kind of links you can do. But they've left loopholes. And did you know that you can go to various celebrities to get a shout out and pay them some money? And in fact, some celebrities are surprisingly cheap to do that. We're going to welcome you to the influencer world, and that influencer world is called Instagram. Strategic planning. What I find interesting is that there's a lot of businesses who say, when I go in on a new product process, I say, show me your strategic plan. They say, okay, our business plan is over here, and they pull out numbers, and I say, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about in the strategic plan are the words of the hows and the whys that you're successful in business and how you're going to drive your profits and your revenues, etc. And it's surprising to me how few businesses actually have a strategic plan. In my old days of running these brands for corporate companies, we did rolling 3-year strategic plans or 5-year plans. And it was every single year, and it was cross-functional, and we spent months working on this with a great deal of time within that. If you're not doing strategic plan, you are failing, because guess what? This is a very boring page in terms of text, but what I want to get across is you have a 70% chance of outperforming your peers, probably the biggest statistic out of any of these, if you strategic plan. And those strategic plans should be the content that will drive all of these social media platforms. Because if it falls within your strategic plan and the directive and the tactics that you're doing in that, then that's what you're doing. And the strategic plan is a living, breathing thing. So that's why we include strategic planning training within this. Because everybody should know what you're doing and know why. The background, again, 13% only of companies do this. And it's been vital to my last 25 years of marketing, and it should be a vital part of your process too. So the feedback loop, we talked about online reviews and we talked about it in certain segments, but do you have a feedback loop? Because customers expect a response in 24 hours. If you don't have standard operating procedures to do that, you're in trouble. In fact, there's a lot of people who are stuck in an age of yesterday where they think asking consumers questions is market research and actually having a conversation about buying products is marketing, except a feedback loop that is continuous can be both marketing and market research and drive your profits through the roof. So I make an example of a platform that we built called Urgent Insights. If every business tells you that their customers come through word of mouth. And if every business tells you that they are focused on their customer but don't have this continuous feedback loop, then they're not voting with their feet. They're not voting with their mouth. They're not voting with their actions. They're telling you something that they're actually not doing. LinkedIn is the place that business people connect. Again, there's a whole lot of bullet points. This is the kind of stuff you can look at later. The important thing is it's the number one place for business. The way I look at it is it's the sales place from hell. When you're online and you're an executive, there are people constantly marketing to you. And when I say marketing, they're really selling. They're just telling you what to do. But there are some very good ways to do it. There are certain ways to deal with people's profiles that will get you noticed. There are certain ways to deal with your content that will get you noticed. There are certain different ways to use the groups within LinkedIn to create them or use them. But people just don't do it. They become sell, 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 and nobody wants to be sold. Selling is about a conversation. Pinterest. So Pinterest is one of the least known social media platforms, and it's in a surprising way because this is the most liked, most friendly social media platform out there. Pinterest is a place where people go for solutions. 70% of Pinterest users are females, and it used to be just kind of recipes, but did you know that food and drink and technology are the categories for men? Did you know that there's more than 1.7 recipe pins out there? And 9 out of 10 describe Pinterest positive. Do you think they do the same thing with Twitter? Most people are just yelling at each other. So if you've made the mistake in thinking that Pinterest is just recipes, you're sadly mistaken and you're falling short of expectation. Google loves Pinterest. So when you look at Google results in certain different phrases and categories, you're going to find Pinterest is all over it. So this is an important one. Guess what? Customer experience training is also very critical. And I've listed just a handful of topics on here. Okay, we're going to go through in these monthly trainings. We can go through some digital media, some social media training. We can also go through this customer experience because when you have the focus of your customer, they don't feel appreciated, then you are not capitalizing on that sale. So we've talked about this. We've shown you this ad on the right or this TV news story on the right where a dentist using Instagram has filled his practice out for months. But there's a lot of stories, and I just clipped out one, which is talking about from the USA Today, boosting sales by 25% when they found the right social media partner. There are so many people out there who tell you that they know what they're doing. And unfortunately, it's kind of like marketing or sales. Everybody's a marketing expert because they buy something in a category, and it's just a problem because there's a false sense of security in there. It's a special knowledge, it's a special skill to tell these stories. Likewise, with digital media, there are so many changes that happen over time that you have to be on top of them. So, what this presentation is about specifically is about commercial banks and their clients. One of the things we found is commercial clients can come and go all the time. But what we're going to give to you today is the opportunity to create an absolutely new paradigm within commercial banking. We can separate you from the competition and create a stickier relationship with your commercial clients because guess what? They're part of this group that doesn't know what to do with digital media. And again, 57% of them are doing it themselves. Another 25 are using agencies, but they don't even know if the agencies are doing a good job. I would guess in most companies, they switch agencies every 4 to 6 months because the previous one didn't do what they needed. So here's our team. I've described myself. Brian McAdams is a guy with 40 plus years of C-level experience. He's bought and sold companies well over $500 million, some small companies, some companies listed on the New York Stock Exchange. He was an ad agency executive. He is a whiz. There's some as seen on TV products that we can place blame on him for. Perk, this guy is a banking expert. This guy has been in the banking industry for 40 years. This guy knows what he's talking about. 25 years at a C-level experience. You know, he's managed commercial banking, small banking, retail banking, back office. But what's important about him is he's the guy that knows how to try different things. Perk is the one who has brought various tools for small businesses in. A valuation tool, for instance, was one of them that he brought into his last bank before they were bought out by a larger company. and it really satisfied the needs of commercial clients. So it's the three of us. I'm the guy that deals with the technology. I'm the guy that deals with the marketing, and these two guys are the intellectual powerhouse that helps us drive our business. We're going to introduce you to a concept that we call strategic partner growth. When I say we are the nerds, it's really I'm the nerd. But again, my team is the nerds. We understand the digital media stuff, which drives business profits, because we understand how people are motivated versus just getting impressions. What we're going to do is we're going to provide monthly training to your commercial clients. And they're going to be live webinars and things like digital marketing, customer experience. And we're going to provide a world-class strategic planning process that they can also take advantage of. Oh, by the way, these services can also be a part of what goes to your commercial bankers. The bottom line is your commercial clients, you'll pick which ones receive this training. Your commercial clients leave you to go to another firm. They lose the access to this training. And if you've ever done any market research on this, and I know you haven't because nobody's ever tried this before, but the market research we've done and in the initial phase of exploring this concept with people, they were shocked at how different this concept was. So with that, strategic partner growth is going to separate you from your competition. So if you're ready, again, it's Rob Schmidt. My phone number's on here, 602-320-3824. Today was a very quick walkthrough of some of the various things that can help drive profits through, again, a dozen or so social media platforms. Didn't even touch on all the customer experience stuff, which we can also bring to you. COVID has changed the world. If you are not having communication and conversations with your clients through social media, and I'm talking you as well as your commercial banking clients, you are dead. They just haven't put the final date on your certificate. So whether you do something with us or somebody else, that's fine. That's up to you to decide. We're not used car sales clothes people. So you be ready. You be ready to take that step, and whether you use us, I think that would be great, and we would look forward to having future conversations and working with you. And if not, please find a solution that's going to work for you, because if you don't, others will, and you're going to put yourself in danger, because the generational shift has caused everything to change. And if small business doesn't know how to do it, they're going to be part of that 25 or more % that's not going to survive the restart of the economy. So with that, again, it's Rob Schmidt, 602-320-3824. I thank you for your time. Please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. Make it a great day.